I want to tell my story in a cinematic way, but there's nobody around, and I guess it's up to me to film myself by myself. So let's explore how we can do it in a fun and creative way. Let's roll. Filming yourself by yourself is not as hard as we may think. It only takes a little bit of creativity and effort. I truly believe that gear is just gear, and it's up to you to tell your story in a cinematic and creative way. Today we're working with Red Komodo cinema camera, Panasonic Lumix S1 DSLR camera, and my very old GoPro 7 as an action cam. To be honest, you can create a great storytelling video even with an iPhone, but we'll leave that story for another day. While filming yourself, most of the shots you will be capturing will probably be on sticks. However, today we've explored a little bit of mounting camera on a Ronin, also using the action cam, mounting it with a chest mount, carrying it with the selfie stick. We also experimented with low angle, Dutch angle, high angle overhead shot, etc. So don't be frustrated if you only have one camera. Just use your angles wisely, and I promise you, your video will be looking great, and it would look like it was shot with multiple cameras. So let's dive in and see what we can do with our gear. Establishing shot usually shows the entire location and gets us acquainted with the surroundings and the characters that may be in the scene. And just in case we need a cutaway shot right after establishing shot, we'll have this second angle, which means we'll just shift the camera maybe like 30-45 degrees over. And for the next shot, we'll do something more interesting. We're placing camera down low, creating a low angle to give me that epic feel when my foot is exiting the truck. We're also going to be doing color contrast with only these two lights. So this small N-line pavo tube with color teal will go inside under the steering wheel to give me the backlight. This orange colored pavo tube will go right next to the front wheel of the truck. So we'll create a cinematic look that you often see in a blockbuster movie. Let's see how it will pan out. So let's explore the moving shot. So I got my Ronin and Lumix S1 rigged up, and it looks like it's gonna be shooting upside down, and we'll just have to rotate it in post. To keep the consistency with lighting, we got the orange tube and the teal tube as well. And the trickiest part with all of this is to keep the subject in focus, which in this shot is gonna be my feet. I'll have to have strength to carry it and also carry this bag. This is incredibly heavy. Ooh. Another incredibly heavy walk. And here we go. When you have a great location, you have a great visual representation for your audience, and they can really enjoy and explore this great location with you, like we're doing in this big warehouse today. It just so happens that in our building we got this amazing elevator. Let's create this nice unsettling mood by setting the camera at an angle, creating a Dutch angle, which just means an odd angle, something unusual. And now is the time to actually run the scene. I'm gonna go and run this one more time. Sometimes it may be tricky to figure out where to stop. Stopping right in front of the lens in this shot would not work because the shot wouldn't be pretty. So the only option I have is to go past the camera. I'm beginning to like these pavo tubes because they're so cool. First of all, in the previous scene we just placed them right on the ground, and now we can just lay them right here. Nice and convenient, no stands needed. Thank you so much, Nanlite, you did a great job, and I'm not even getting paid for this. Oh, such a shame. My finger is in the frame, and we might just rotate camera a little bit, maybe give me a little bit more lead room, maybe not as much action on my part. Boom. And just to add to the level of sophistication, I noticed that today I'm wearing a wristwatch, which may be another great plot line to include in this whole thing. An insert shot like that may add some style. We brought the camera up on our sticks, and now it's just the trickery of positioning the hand. So you just have to kind of look at the screen, everything is left to right, right to left. Also need to remember I had a bag in my hand. It just so happens that the cinema lens has a minimal focusing distance. It really helps a lot if you have focusing red guides on your monitor. And now just repeat this move a couple of times. You never know which one will be better one in post. I'm actually gonna be filming me walking out. This is the character reveal. Feels too close. We need to give a little bit more headroom. Since I have screen actually looking at me, I can see myself. I'm gonna walk back and raise the camera just a little bit. So now we have all that we need. We got ND filter because it's too bright. We got the camera tilted up. Now we're ready to actually do the shot. Shooting slow-mo is one of my favorite ways to add that cinematic vibe to a video, and so this is exactly what I decided to do when I was planning this shot. As I'm walking to the table, I'm gonna be tossing this back. There's a lot of motion happening, and the best way to really emphasize the slow-mo is to have some motion. And to make things more interesting, I took the camera off the sticks and placed it right flush on the level with the table, adding an interesting vibe to the story as well. In this shot, I decided to not do a complete 90-degree overhead because that would be way too cumbersome for what I'm doing. I raised the sticks as high as I could and I pointed the camera as low as I could, really wanting to focus on what's inside. Since I cannot rack focus, we need to keep this book at about the same distance as it is right now. So when I get it out of the bag, I cannot raise it too high because it will be blurry. And that's the shot. One of the best ways to light yourself is actually utilize the natural sunlight. So specifically for this purpose, we chose our loft on the 4th floor to actually utilize those large windows and let the sunlight come in and just give me a nice and soft light on my face. Besides that, I only used these 2 tubes to create some sort of atmosphere blockbuster look. And really these small tube lights are great to take in tight spaces to emphasize feature your camera is focused on if the ambient light is not enough. And in case you wonder, how do you focus when you have nothing here to focus on? This is what I'm using. It is a consent to be photographed or recorded sign, which I like because it has a fine print, a lot of it, and it's tall, so it can really help me also measure the height where I need to actually leave the headroom and stuff like that. I would place the sign approximately where my eye line will be. I will focus on the fine print, then I will remove the sign and take a seat. Don't forget to do seamless transition shots. So you'll film yourself in a slightly wider shot and then you will repeat the same phrase or the same motion and also will move the camera and zoom in and film yourself in a tighter frame. Then you find the spot which matches exactly in post-production and you can seamlessly go between wider shot and close-up, making it look like you may have more than one camera on the set. And another trick to convince your audience that you may have multiple cameras on the set is just to place the camera 35 to 40 degrees around you and say the same thing or do the same motion again and again, capturing it from the first angle and from the second angle, and then just easily splicing it in post-production. And if you're tired of boring static shots, which you may shoot on sticks, there are a couple ways to add movement to your shots. First of all, you can always add camera shake through DaVinci Resolve or another software you may be using. The second way is to create a Ken Burns effect, which, if done right, may trick your audience into thinking that perhaps the shot was done on a slider or a dolly. So for Ken Burns effect, all you have to do is to create keyframe at the beginning of your clip, with your clip being at 100% scale, and then you would create a keyframe at the end of your clip, and all you have to do is just increase the scale of your clip to maybe like 120, 130%. Oh no, I'm late. I was still going to show you action shots. Let's go. Wait, where did he go? I still have to show the action cam shots. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, do so now. Give this video a like, and I'm gonna catch him and show him how to do action shots. And this has been such a fun experience filming yourself by, well, yourself. But if you want to learn more about how to create product video A to Z, you should check out this video next.